Thank you for tuning back into the talk show. I am Andra Hedden, CMO of Marketopia, and today I am joined by the one and only Joel. Joel, if you don't know him, he is the Vice President and Associate Publisher over at the ChannelPro Network. And you can see behind Joel, he's got a couple of the things that ChannelPro is best known for. Joel, thank you for joining us.
Andra, always a pleasure.
Right now, as we sit, we still are in the middle of COVID-19, and there's been a lot of shifts that have happened in the channel. And I know many are examining it all along the way. And I'd love to just hear from you, Joel. What are you seeing from your perspective, being with a media company and having a foothold in the channel like you do? What do you see happening right now?
I have to applaud our MSPs first of all, because
Absolutely.
they're the frontline workers. They are just as important to us today as doctors and nurses are. I believe that. I know that. I see that because my systems wouldn't work without them.
Mm-hmm.
Systems wouldn't work without them. We couldn't event without our MSP partners giving us the right equipment, the right softwares, the right products to run our businesses. So I applaud them because there would be no way that this world could work the way it is. So we're seeing that managed services and back into disaster recovery are two of the most important things right now. You must offer those products. Having a work from home solution is one of the top three things MSPs have to be able to offer. They have to. There's no way that you can work from an office full of people anymore. Even our own offices, we're dissolving, we're closing them. Everybody work from home, please, because it's a lot.
Is the whole office work from home? Everyone's remote right now, aren't they?
Everybody's home. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Some of the things that are happening, some of the some of the solutions that are poised for biggest growth in the channel right now: security services, managed services, IoT, and managed security.
Yep.
Top four things. Of course, cloud, but those are some of the top three very, very, very important things that solution providers are seeing the fastest and the biggest growth right now. You're not offering them. Go find a partner, a vendor to go do business with, because you're going to be able to do that. Now, when you look at security services, don't go and settle on a security product. There are so many of them. There are so many ideas. There are so many security softwares that you need to run a successful MSP for your end users. So make sure that you're working with a lot of different vendors and talking with a lot of different distributors to make sure you're getting the right products and the right services for your end users. I mean, that's really what's important. And that's what we're finding is really, really important right now. What are some of the top factors of competitive advantage that MSPs are getting against the others? Offering some amount of managed services is very important. Going online and attending industry events. Those are the MSPs that are getting to hire, they're taking the steps to make their practice better. That's going and saying, you know what, how do I make my practice better? By offering better managed service products and services. By going to trade shows virtually and seeing what's happening out there in the market. How can they better their business? Because they can't go out to the market. Right. So they've got to see it some way. And we're offering it. You're offering it. A lot of the vendors out there are offering opportunities. And pick the ones that are very strong, that have good content, and join us and join you and join some of the other events that are out there. I know ChannelProNetwork.com offers them on our site. We have an event section. You can see all the different events we've done this year. We have one coming up in December on the 2nd. They should join us because the content is very, very important to help them grow.
Going out and educating yourself, not only on those solutions that you said, security, making sure that you've got your practice in place, but just best practices in business. And now there's so much content available. Definitely take advantage of it. I love that. And do you house other recordings on your site of other events, or are you housing your event recordings?
So our event recordings are all on our site.
Okay.
So everyone can come on there. If a vendor or an organization gives us their event with a link, we post it on our site in our event section. We have no problem with that.
Awesome.
So absolutely, we're definitely posting.
Share a little bit more about the neat things that you have going on and what partners can turn to you for, and maybe too what vendors can turn to you for.
Well, right now we're working on our 2021 programs. Okay. Right. So a vendor that is looking to reach the MSPs, the VARs, the IT consultants, we have them as readers. We
Great.
also have another publication called IoT Playbook, which reaches the IoT market. They're two separate publications, and we have events that go along with all the products we have. We have
Mhm.
our online product, ChannelProNetwork.com. And you can register for any of these things. You can go to events.channelpronetwork.com and go and register for our events. In 2021, we are planning on doing 11 events.
Wow. Okay.
We're scheduled to launch all of our events for 2021. Once a month, skipping January, we'll be having once a month about the first 8 days or 8 or 9 days of each month. They're one day. They're all one-day events.
What are you seeing, MSPs and or vendors? What's everyone trying to scoop up and learn about?
Well, what they're learning, what they're trying to find is learning about new solutions. So when there's a new solution, they jump on it, right? So that's something that's interesting. Feedback, recommendations from peers, from their own peers. That's really important. So when you see some feedback and stuff on the site, that's great. Training is really important for them.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
articles about and reviews that are unbiased, are really, really important for them. And the other thing that they're seeing that we're finding that MSPs are learning about the new solutions that are out there, or the new kinds of webinars and events that are out there, the industry events, and they're jumping in. We're getting registration like we've never seen
I love that.
when we do an event, and the attendees are great. I'll tell you that the only negative about all this virtual stuff is getting our readers, all of our attendees to these events, to turn on their mics and cameras. We're all desperate to see other people. We
Definitely.
all want to get out and see other people. Getting your camera and your audio on is probably one of the best things that an MSP can do to make anyone else's day.
MSPs are getting a little bit more used to, okay, great, I do just want to see other people. Let's get inside of that event. Let's talk to someone. Let's go in live. But talk a little bit about, some best practices with events. You guys are seeing a lot of success. What are you seeing are the best ways to go about putting on virtual events, and what's important to consider from the standpoint of a vendor or even an attendee?
Well, first of all, you've got to have chat available,
Yep.
right? So something for them to communicate to each other when they're on the site.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get out. So we're giving you the advantage, just like in live in person, you're getting that advantage to walk into a networking session and area and talk. It's an ability to get face to face with someone just like you and I are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
it's really important. And when vendors are on there, just waiting and sitting there doesn't work. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be ready to present.
Yes.
You see someone come in your booth, and you have to have a software that helps you understand that people are coming to you. So that's also something important for vendors to know. You got to be able to have the product that works for the MSP, so that they can communicate to other MSPs or to the vendor when they're at the show or at these virtual events. It's really, really important for that.
Software is so important. The type of software, that's the experience. It's the same as picking the venue, in my opinion, for an event. What does it feel like? How easy is it to get from a conference room over to the main session for the keynote? How far are the rooms away from where you're? All of that is taken into consideration when you're looking at booking a live event. It's the same thing when you're picking the software. And so there's many different software opportunities out there that you can pair up with, but you have to take the same type of things into consideration. How many clicks does it take to go get to the live event? Or is it confusing on how to move through the software? Can you see people? To your point, Joel, can you actually go in and see someone when they're on video? Do you get the notifications? Does it ping you when there's a chat? Is it too complicated? Because all of that will detract everyone. Just like you and I know at a live event, if that pool party or that live event or whatever it is too far away, you're going to start to lose a percentage of people because they're going to go, I'm just going to go back to the room. It's the same thing on the virtual event. If it's too complicated, they're going to go, I have this work to do anyways. I'll get back here later, and they don't ever come. So I think, it's so important. It's so important. And I know you have obviously software that you use. What are you using, and what other ones have you seen work really well?
In 2021, we're looking at virtual shows throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But the option will be to go to hybrid for 6 of those shows. We have
Nice.
shows that'll go hybrid. And those hybrid shows, we have to pick software that would work both for live and online events,
Absolutely.
as well as being able to broadcast both on the screen at the live event and on your computer screen, and have no lag. So we're working with the software companies. We're working with 4 different softwares that we've used to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
software to make the event work stronger and be a more interactive event. I will tell you the only problem with all of our shows in every event is the refresh button. We must remember that if there is a problem with your event that anybody is having, let's say you're coming to meet me at my booth and you're going from point A to point B on the show, hit refresh. It
Mhm.
instantly fixes everything. Those are some of the things that all of the shows I've been on have the same problem. If it's a problem getting into a booth, a problem going to a show or sitting down in a room or doing whatever, the instant you hit refresh, it fixes everything.
Anything else regarding events that you think are great tips and tricks to share with everyone? If they're
Um,
looking to put on their own webinar, I know a lot of MSPs right now are trying to do the same. They're really looking, they can't have the, private dinners they used to have, or a lot of the tastings or fun things out in your local space, your chamber events, many things are just different now. So any tips for them when they're looking to put on their own events?
well, I would say think about it really hard before you put on your own event. There's a lot of work to put on an event. It's a lot of work. It's not like just turning on Zoom and making it happen. Although it is, but that's not the kind of event you want.
Yeah.
You want an event that's interactive, that's valued. If you're only going to have people there and no sponsorships from vendors, then Zoom works perfectly fine for a just conversation in
Mm-hmm.
a form. But everybody's talking on top of each other. You got to move them to groups, right? You move them to their own room. I think that's not what we're looking to do for the future. I think that's not an IT decision. Those are decisions that companies that are not technically savvy are doing.
No, I think that's great advice. And I'm with you in the sense that don't underestimate putting on an event. On one hand, I'll say don't be scared of putting on an event if you actually do have the talent behind the scenes and you do have the topic and you do have that value and you do know, how to market it and get it out there. At the same exact time, to your point, know that to put on a good event, it will be work. So sometimes it's good to partner for events or to go in with someone else to kind of spread that work out a little bit. And then all of a sudden you can start sharing that workload, but then also creating more value the more people that you have jump into an event as well. As long as it makes sense with the goal of what you're trying to accomplish with that event. So what can we look forward to with ChannelPro? What's coming up? Any good surveys coming out that you're sending out? You've got your event coming up. Anything else that we want to share with everyone?
So State of the Channel will be coming out soon. Keep
Okay.
an eye out for that.
Awesome.
The 2021, 2020, 2021 State of the Channel will be out soon enough. And keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
There is quite a bit of content coming out every day on our site.
Great.
There's so many events that we are all going to that we're writing about that my editorial team is busy writing about, and they're getting a lot of information from the virtual world. They can be in multiple places at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
The beauty.
saying something, just getting back to something you said before, everybody doing events. There's a lot of Zoom fatigue, I would say, or virtual event fatigue. So before someone decides they're going to turn on an event and run an event on their own, think about how many people are going to be coming to it and why they're going to come to it. Because just to do it doesn't make sense. You can talk to them and be on an event, on another event, just like one of your events or one of my events, and talk to those people just like you are anywhere else, virtually or in a Zoom call or in a in a person-to-person event just like this. If you want to do that, there are places to do that. But if you're an association or a group that you're trying to get messages to, then yes, then do it and do it right and do it at the right times. Timing is also important.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an eye on the calendars are important, because if one of the bigger vendors where 50 or 60% of the of the partners are going to be on that event during that day, you don't want to do an event that day. So
Absolutely.
looking at the event calendars on all the websites, that's really important, and knowing that. But there's coming a lot of content every day, on channelpronetwork.com. I can't thank my editors enough for the content they put out. And I can't thank you guys enough for having us here.
Absolutely. Well, Joel, always a pleasure. And definitely check out channelpronetwork.com. There is a ton of content and it should be a staple in your day. Tune in and take a look at what they're producing for you and what they're pumping out for you. Their goal is obviously to help you grow and keep you well informed of what's happening out there in the channel. Joel and team keeps a good pulse on it for you. So as always, Joel, it was an absolute pleasure. And thank you for joining. And thank you to everyone tuning in. We will talk to you soon.
Thanks so much for having us.